sure this is recording. Are we recording? Hi, Danny. I'm going to wave.
We're live?
We are live. We're back, everybody. We're back. This is actually episode. Do you know the number, Danny? I know the number.
I don't. I would say 53.
Close. It is 5-4.
Fuck.
54. Here we go.
Was last week the week we took off?
I just said here we go for the music to start.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do this again. Here we go.
No, let's leave all this in it. This is all
I know. No, I'm not editing it out, but I'm saying the music does have to go somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, can I let the music play now?
Yes.
And we're back. I can't, Danny. I can't. The way we do this, you do know how we record this podcast, right? There's one edit for the song.
I know.
One tiny pause. Welcome back, everybody, to Dad So Hard. I am Vinnie Dunleavy.
Danny McCartney, dad extraordinaire.
And we are both dads, fathers, somewhat friends, I think.
Yeah, maybe not after this.
Maybe not after the past couple weeks. Former coworkers. Gentlemen who like to partake in partying on the weekends. Not with each other though, because I haven't seen. We actually haven't physically seen each other. Well,
now that we don't record live together, I don't see you.
We don't see each other at all. This is when we do see each other.
I'm also looking very pale.
The lighting. If you're watching us on YouTube,
lighting.
If you would like to see what this looks like, you can go to our.
I look like I'm so hard. I look like I'm sick. I look like I'm in a hospital bed. Like if you couldn't see that I was in my basement, you would think that I was dying, literally.
It looks like it actually very much does look like a hospital room. I mean, comparatively to me, which I have like a tan and I think better lighting, and I look like I'm wide awake.
I gotta get in the sun.
I was just watching. We were just watching yesterday. Binge watched Election on Netflix. It's the new Ryan Murphy show, and it is about these like high school kids.
I don't know how people watch things.
We had a fortunate Sunday that somehow I found 6 hours to binge watch a TV show. I don't know what happened.
Christ.
My kids actually had a play date at our house.
Tranquilizers?
No, they had a play date going on in our house, and it was such a good play date that I didn't need to watch them.
That's fucking amazing.
It was actually like the spirit gods got together in the fall and allowed me time to just relax. And so
that sounds like a dream.
It was fantastic. And so we ended up watching Election. My review of it I posted on my personal Instagram. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
What are you, a reviewer now?
Listen, we're expanding. We're maybe expanding the movie reviews or Netflix reviews. But the thing about it when the kids, so you know the story. In it, it's about these high school kids that are really aggressive, and one guy wants to run for president, which is why it's called an election, and it's a lot of politics. But there's a side story that's very similar to the mom who had Munchausen's by proxy and made her daughter really sick, and there was a Hulu series called The Act.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know, there was a Netflix documentary.
I used to see ads for that all the time.
And the little girl, she was like 25, but acting like she was 17.
Yeah, really creeping me out.
So there's a character. A lot of Ryan Murphy's stuff is very like, I think it pulls from recent headlines. So there's a girl in there who thinks she has cancer because her mom is making her sick. Point of the story, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
You look like her right now.
Okay.
That is when you said you look like I'm in a hospital.
I look like a female cancer patient.
If you look at the character in Election, if you put a little like bonnet on your head, you potentially could look like her right now. Because the
really boosting my self-esteem.
This is how you go out on a Monday night. If you're going to go to sleep, you're going to go to sleep thinking that you have a girl, and she's a girl too. But
I got that. Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
All right. So we have a big episode. I think we have a big episode.
We always have a big episode.
Every episode's big. But Danny, before we get into it, remind everybody. I want to. It's 54. Thank you for writing in. We actually got some viewer mail from last week.
How did we get it?
The feedback. How did we get it?
How did we get it?
Oh, actually, let me pull up my phone on my handy dandy iPhone.
Was it an email?
It was this one was particularly. We had a couple emails. This was an email regarding.
So they emailed us at dadsohardpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, that actually. Oh, I like that one. Yes, this email came in from Dad's So Hard podcast, and it was they had some feedback on our commentary about Cracker Barrel on last week's episode. People were a little bit up in arms that I was criticizing the fried chicken there, and I'm happy to do a taste.
Must have been a Cracker Barrel worker.
It must have been. I'm happy to do a taste test. I will drive out with I will get New York's finest fried chicken and go out to Eastern PA for a taste test. As well as I was also noted that when it is Passover, as a part Jew person, I did not properly wish everybody a happy Passover. So you're supposed to say have a happy fast, which
kinda
I did not for Passover. For Yom Kippur.
Counterintuitive, no?
Well, actually, that's for Yom Kippur. No, I'm gonna
have a happy fast.
Yeah, no. So my I'm gonna give a shout out to DGAR 423. I know who you are.
Give his email away.
I didn't say where it came from. That could be at a Hotmail address.
That's true.
Or that could be his Instagram profile.
Okay.
Or it could be.
We have to protect our listeners.
We're protected. Well, for one, he is a relative of mine who was also Jewish. And when we recorded last time's episode, it was not Passover. It was actually Yom Kippur. And so for him to tell me on Passover, you say happy fast is actually incorrect.
So
he is wrong. He thinks he's schooling me. Look at that.
He's getting all high. Okay, so now you just showed his.
I did it fast. Nobody's seeing that.
It's 2019. You can pause.
No. Could you imagine? That'd be bad. But it did end with he likes what we're doing on the show and is following up an episode. So we may have to get him on to
critique us.
Because then I got a phone call and texts also about how he was requesting us to be more edgy. But then also on
it's a dangerous request.
It's a dangerous request. And then also we got more feedback today from somebody else who a friend of mine who listened to 3 episodes in this car ride in Eastern Pennsylvania this past weekend and loved them, thought they were funny. So that's what we're here to do, everybody. We're here to give
Pennsylvania.
Eastern PA, who's driving back from a kid's thing.
Can I guess who that was?
You would have no clue because I don't think you know. It's somebody. It's a friend of it's one of my.
I was gonna guess Bobby. I actually owe him a response to an email. He sent me an email, and I'm late to respond to him.
Oh, our super fan. He actually, I emailed him today, but he did not comment on the podcast, so I don't know if he's listening.
Well, he was probably mad at me because I owe him a response.
Oh. Well, we know you're out there, Mr. Bobby Brown. You're like a super fan, so let's hit us up. And on Instagram, we do owe. Can we give a shout out to a couple weeks ago, and a number of people have commented on that they loved this interview and they thought he was great. Doc Collins.
Yeah,
he's a big supporter of us.
I still owe him a T-shirt
on Instagram. He's at Patriot Heart Media, and he's
very patient because he deals with us.
Correct. He's a veteran, and he's a big dad supporter, and he lives. He's living a bold dad life. We owe him a T-shirt, and it's coming. I swear to God, I promise. He also terrifies me, so I'm not gonna. He's a pro wrestler. He's an ex-pro wrestler. He will.
I know how the hell that didn't come up on the interview. I have no idea.
It's if he's listening to this, which I hopefully is, that's the next topic because I missed that as well. I guess the Dad So Hard Nation research team forgot to do the pre-interview and tell us about all of that.
Yeah, our research consists of looking through your Instagram profile.
It's we're very detailed, very thorough. So today, a thing that came up on Instagram, though, somebody DM'd us an article about the state of California. And we don't usually get very political on this, but we're going to go
really
there.
Political.
It's
kind of just stating a fact.
No, but it was the governor. It's a law that was passed in California. So it's political because it was.
This may be a stupid question.
What? Where is
Arnold Schwarzenegger still not the governor of California?
Arnold Schwarzenegger is not the governor of California anymore, Danny.
Okay.
I think he's actually twice removed. I think there's been 2 people since him as governor.
Yikes.
No, ever since he got he became another dad with his cleaning lady.
So he supports dads.
He supports a lot. He is
Dad So Hard supporter.
He loves being a dad. So no, currently the governor of California is Gavin Newsom.
Okay.
I believe. I hope he's the governor, or he's the mayor of San Francisco. I think he's the governor. And so they passed a law changing the times schools start in the state. So for middle school and high school, they're changing the start times from 8 o'clock to 8:20, or no, to 8 o'clock for middle school, I think, and 8:20 for high school, or vice versa. And some of the commentary that has been out there is that for working parents, when they're required to be at a job at a certain time, this makes it more difficult when you're trying to be on a fixed childcare schedule.
Mm-hmm.
When I first heard the story, I was like, oh yeah, that really sucks. Like I just thought to myself, like, what would you do? And then I reread it, and it is specific for middle school and high school. So the question is, like, does it?
Do you give a shit because your kids are commuting on their own at that point?
Correct. I mean, if you're in New York City, there are elementary school kids in 3rd grade that are taking the bus, let alone.
The only thing is, it almost forces your kids to grow up a little more because your parents are out of the house at that point, and you're kind of just being now trusted to leave on time, get to school on time, and lock the house.
And feed yourself and get dressed.
Yeah, that's if you're not having breakfast at school.
Yeah, you're waking up, and your kids are. You're waking up, showering, leaving the house, going to work, and their kids are still in bed. Great. You mean I hope they wake up alive. Yeah. You just gotta hope you get out of the house. But one of the things though is that I don't actually mind it. Well, the issue was they were saying that they wanted to be later because they thought kids were getting up too early and they were too tired to learn. But my thought would be
all that's gonna do is make them say, "Oh, now I can stay up later and play Fortnite longer."
A bingo. So my thing is, if a kid's going to bed,
be just as tired. They're just going to go to bed later.
Especially high school kids are going to go to bed later because now they're going to go. I can wake up later.
Exactly.
So
You know what you have to do? You have to give them a floating start time.
Oh, how would you do a floating start? Like you show up when you want to show up?
I don't know. I'll think about it. It'll be something along the lines of like. You find out in the middle of the night what time school starts the next day. So you always have to wake up by 7 a.m. because, you know what I mean? Like you're going to wake up to a text saying, today school starts at 7:45.
Well, what about this?
Today school starts at 8:20.
Well, why not start it at 8:20, but instead of having extracurricular activities, why not have pre-curricular activities? Like the Rotary Club, instead of meeting at 2:30. The Rotary Club. There's like all the men. There were historically men's clubs. They're like different. You weren't in any extra school clubs.
Track.
Right. So outside of athletics, there are club teams in schools. There are organizations that do charity work. They raise money. They support veterans. They do all different things.
Oh, it was one thing that I did. I forget what it was called. It wasn't the UN, but it was like something like that. We got to go to Washington, D.C. That was the only reason why I did it. And it was like I needed something to put on my college application that I was doing.
Other than track. I'm trying to think if there's like a poli-sci group.
Other than sports, yeah.
And not student government. This story about student government. So I was class vice president my senior year. And this show, Election, on Netflix is all about these two kids running for vice president and president. What I forgot in the show was in this show, they're trying to really change the dynamic of the school. Mm-hmm. I don't remember if me and the president even did anything. And then all I know was...
No, it was a popularity contest.
And apparently it's supposed to be like a lifelong commitment to then organizing your high school reunions. So at my 10 year, I got all these people who were finding me in the world being like, when's our reunion? And I was like, I didn't know 1 year of my life was going to turn to the next 30 years. Yeah. So I do get phone calls.
Come on.
To figure out when it's coming up. I don't know. I'm not really that organized.
Well,
and randomly,
I was asked, one of the kids that was running for president asked if I would run with him. And I said, absolutely not.
Did he win?
No, he lost. He wanted me to run because he was like, if you run with me, it'll help me get the popular vote. And I said, you're nuts if I want to be associated with you.
See, I don't think in our school, I don't think we ran on tickets. I think we just ran for individual positions because the guy who was president lives in my neighborhood now. Like we're neighbors, and our kids are on the same soccer team.
With whoever wins, it could be like your mortal enemy.
Yeah, like he just ran for president. Together. I ran for vice president. Like because I don't remember running with him. We didn't campaign together. We ran for different positions.
Yeah.
So I don't even think he remembers being president. I ran into him at a soccer field. I was like, do you remember that we were class president and vice president? And I don't think he had any clue. But I'm torn in these school times. I did run it by my children and they didn't care. They did ask when we're going to be on the podcast again. And I did say, I'm figuring that out with Danny.
Okay. Oh yeah. Put it on me. That's a veteran move. Veteran.
I said it's up to. I said I got to talk to Danny. When am I going to be on it? So tonight. So this.
That's
thing,
like what I've been doing that at work with like we've been interviewing like for positions.
Yep.
And I always do like, oh man, well, you're doing all the right things. It's just decisions out of my hands. Even if it's my decision, like I can't have anyone be mad at me if I don't make the decision. You know what I mean?
Well, so the issue is though with your kids.
Don't listen to this.
How bad do you feel with your kids lying to them? Because I've started to feel like I'm failing as a dad, and I'm like, that's another lie. And
I don't know. I feel like we don't really do big lying to them. It'll be like white lies.
Oh,
like I can't even think of something. Well,
so for example,
keep me up at night.
Tonight I was reading. Emily was reading a book before she went to bed, and the clock was ticking, and she's getting better at going to bed.
Abridged version. Mary Jane's mad at me. Like she heard me reading a book, and I'm like putting my own spin on it, and Mary Jane was like, "That's not what the book is saying," and I was like, "Well, the book is paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs long,
correct,
and it's horrible. So I'm making it better. Like I don't know what you want me to do."
Correct. Well,
it stinks.
Well, that to me is
super pigs.
That's an acceptable lie because I feel like you're doing it for the enjoyment of your child.
Well, and also to make it about a third of the length of the book.
Correct. Yeah, you're trying to get out of there. So I told Emily though. I said I'm going down. I said me and Danny have to have a phone call because we're planning out the podcast. She's like, "Oh, are you going to record it?" And I said,
"You lied."
No.
Yeah,
I totally lied. I said no. And then she's like, "Are you sure?" I said no. She goes, "Well, when am I going to be on?" And I go, "That's what I'm going to talk to Danny about." She's like, "Are you going to talk about Halloween and trying to get a Halloween costume and kids being scared?" And I said, "No, but that may be a topic."
Next week will be the Halloween episode.
Correct. So she was like, "Okay," and
maybe we'll wear our costumes.
Oh, that one. Oh, I like that.
It's not bad.
Cha-ching. That would be a good idea. And so, but I've been feeling bad about it, and we'll get into our dad wins and our dad fails later, but I feel like I've had a lot of fails. There was a couple of weeks where I've been yelling at my kids like a maniac. And then
I've been yelling a lot, but I feel like I haven't, but I don't know. Maybe I have. Maybe she's right. Maybe she's onto something.
No, I have been like threatening. This is not an easy game.
She said my patience has been very short.
Correct. I have been just balancing a million things and
working dads, man. That's what this podcast is all about.
But I feel bad, but then I beat myself up afterwards, and then I end up buying like 17 Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
Like that is the world that I'm in. Like right now, Shane has been we have a new neighbor who has a kid who's a year younger, who has an electronic motorbike that you plug in. It's like a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm. Like a mini motorcycle. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So Shane wants one, and I said you need to be good for 10 days straight and learn how to ride your bike without your training wheels on it. And now every day he's like, "When am I getting my motorbike?" I go, "You haven't been good for more than a day, and you still haven't learned how to ride a bike." And then he's telling me, "Well, you haven't taught me how to ride a bike."
Well,
I was like, "Well," I go, "Yes, I have, but you don't want to learn." He's like, "Yes, I do. You won't teach me." And then I don't want to be yelled at. And then he's like, "I hate you. Ooh, this family's the worst."
Ugh.
And then it ends usually with, "I wish you were dead." Which
I don't like that.
I hate it. I mean, I go crazy. I go out of my mind. Then I lose my mind. And then I lose my mind, and then and then the next day happens. I wake up and I go, "Daddy loves you, and you're a good person. You're a good boy, and I don't like to fight with you, but you can't use these words, and we got to figure out." It's like, "I love you, Daddy." And so tonight he was actually being very nice because I think he's figuring out, like, he's like, "Daddy, you nice to me. You bought me my motorbike?" I was like, "No." But when it gets to Halloween costumes, he's on like, he wanted to be a scary fireman, and then he wanted to be
scary fireman.
A clown mask as a fireman, like a scary.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Horrifying. And then Emily's a scaredy cat, so she's scared. And then he wanted to be Deadpool, so we found a Deadpool costume, but it's like a onesie, so his feet are covered, and he doesn't want to wear it to school because he can't wear shoes with it. And then I decided I lashed out on him because I was like, "I already spent $75 on 2 costumes. You have enough things to dress up. You're not being good. You're not getting anything else." So for the past week and a half, I have been fully committed to not buying him another costume.
We're the Avengers from Endgame.
I saw your. Oh wait, you are not properly tagging yourself in the podcast, Danny. I knew you were Fat Thor.
You did
on your personal.
It was the Staten Island Spooktacular.
I loved it. I loved it.
At the Staten Island Zoo. So I was Fat Thor, but a lot of people seemed to think that I was Jesus.
It's a very. I mean, you're. So
I was wearing sunglasses.
The problem with your costume was you've been working out and losing so much weight, you didn't have a belly. I'm putting it out there. I saw the photo. It's just through the face and the robe. It did have a very Jesus feel. But if you would have had an empty beer bottle,
I need a beer bottle, and I need to do like a belly. Like
you need a belly. You had no belly. You had like a 6-pack.
Well, it was like 3 layers. So I was wearing a sweater, the robe, and a t-shirt. I thought all the layers did it, but I guess
no, because he has Fat Thor had a big belly.
I don't know.
And you know when you're rocking a 6-pack because your dad bod is on fleek right now, it throws it off.
I'll take the compliments.
But I did like it. But you got to tag it in the podcast so we can repost it in the podcast.
I know. The post didn't go through at first. It was a mess.
Well, your costume was on point. I'm not doing I have an old Batman costume. I'll probably resurrect it. I have to find.
That's a pretty good costume. I've seen that one,
and it's a big mask.
It's like movie quality.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I invested long term.
Yeah,
every year.
I saved most of my costumes. So,
well, Halloween is your holiday. It's like born for Danny McCartney. I don't know where I was going. Do I go back? So where did I get back to? Oh, so I ended up
California.
No, so today I came home. So because Shane, so he was wearing me down, and I didn't want to buy him a new costume. But then we got off the train tonight, and we got a call from our au pair. There was a book sale at the school, and Shane got there, and he went to the bathroom, and there was another boy in the stall, and he couldn't hold it, and so he ended up pooping his pants. So our au pair had to go and clean his pants off at the school. Yikes. Emily had to go back and get diapers. We're in the train. Elise is like in a panic attack. I was like, they'll be fine. It's not the first poop emergency. But consequently, you feel bad for the kid because he pooped himself.
He shit himself.
Yeah, and it was a wet one. It was a diarrhea poop. Never good.
I've been there as an adult, so.
The worst. No, the worst. And so I saw him in the book, and he got all cleaned up, and I saw him in the book. I was like, oh, are you okay? He wanted nothing to do to talk about it. He didn't want to admit it happened. He ignored me. He was like, I'm fine. So then when I came home and I wanted to cheer him up, I said, listen, why don't we figure out what do you want to be? So then we found another Halloween costume on Amazon as a clown, a scary clown.
I don't mess around with that.
No. So we did a scary clown. Emily, though, doesn't like to be scared. So now she is revolted.
Smart girl.
He's going to be a scary clown. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it fits. But we're getting ready for the big day.
I mean, as you should be. It is a big day. I might have to quit the diet.
Why? You're doing so good. Oh, for Halloween?
Halloween, yeah.
Having candy on Halloween is not even. I can't even count that as cheating.
Exactly.
Did you buy your candy already?
Mary Jane does that. We buy like a bunch of candy and then we leave a bowl out. So basically, the first kid that gets there gets it all.
So have you heard of this in your neighborhood of a trunk? Oh, what was the name of it? It was Trunkaline or Trunk or Treat. Trunk or Treat. So I was talking to somebody in the suburbs a couple weeks ago, and when you live in a neighborhood where, say, you live in the burbs and there's not a lot of cars around, these communities are organizing trunks and treats where people go and they pull up to a park and they open up their trunks and they decorate them, and then kids go car to car and they trick or treat at the trunk.
What?
Yeah. So instead of going to houses, it's like towns organize it, and it's called Trunk or Treat. So you go up to the trunk. It's all
the fuck's the point of that?
Well, because instead of going to homes, because if the homes are too far away, and if you live in the suburbs where there's a house every 2 miles.
Oh, that's not the suburbs. That's like
the country.
The sticks. Yeah.
The sticks, correct. But I thought it was a cute idea for towns. But then somebody told me in Jersey the school did it. Like the school, instead of trick-or-treating at school.
What about that? Like
I thought it was brilliant.
If you live in like the Poconos,
yeah,
do you not trick-or-treat?
No, you get driven around house to house by your parents.
Are you kidding?
No,
that's how they trick-or-treat?
Yeah, well, how else? People, if you're in the Poconos listening right now, let us know how you trick-or-treat. Correct. Not everybody.
And even think about it. Like, so for us, like in Staten Island, there's a house every 20 feet.
Every 5?
If every 20
No, they're right. Yeah, they're stacked. You guys are in row. It's like row houses.
Feet.
Yeah.
Right? We'll call it 20 feet. There's a house every 20 feet. In like, I don't know, some areas of New Jersey, there's a house every 100 to 200 feet. So like your per capita of houses
is
like I'm
totally
getting so much more candy in Staten Island. Like I'm hitting 4 houses to your every 2.
100%. You're correct. And some of those neighborhoods, like we're in a 50 house neighborhood, and the homes are very close to each other. So people drive into our neighborhoods because you can
To trick
pound
or
out.
treat. You steal all your fucking candy. You got to lock it up. You got to put a fence around your neighborhood.
No, we should. No, but then once you do it,
wall up your neighborhood.
Well, what we do is everybody parties at somebody's house, and then you leave a big bowl of candy in front of your home. So I just like after like 30 minutes, there's a giant bowl. We have a Frankenstein monster of candy who just sits in front of our house, and people come. But randomly, this town,
I'm saying,
it's a very fair town.
Though, like if I'm a kid,
and you see an open bowl of candy, you're taking
I'm saying if I'm a kid and I see these outsiders coming into my neighborhood, trick or treating,
yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
Well, people, it happens all the time now.
Candy.
No, but all the time now. Like there's another neighborhood south of here, like a half mile, and everybody drives down. It's called Soundview, and everybody goes Soundview because the homes are like there's literally like 200 homes, and you can power
put a stop to that.
See, I always thought it was. I personally, Halloween's not my home. I think as a man handing out candy to kids in costumes, I feel creepy.
I never handed out the candy.
Good. I feel like I hate that. I want to have a shower. I don't like it. It makes me feel dirty. And I don't like knocking on the door with my kid and having an adult give them candy.
I was a big trick guy when I was a kid.
Well,
and shaving cream.
You would give out tricks?
No, I would wreak havoc upon the neighborhood.
You were doing eggs, like egg people, or just like shaving cream.
Yeah,
like walkways. If somebody's like walking up somebody's house, there's a line of shaving cream. They step.
Yeah, there was one year. All the like stores around the neighborhood wouldn't sell eggs to anyone, so we just bought sacks of potatoes. We're just throwing potatoes at people.
I mean, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do.
We might as well have thrown baseballs at people.
I mean, yeah, potatoes hurt. Yes, were they the purple russet potatoes? Because
no, they were the big ones.
Yeah, that is. At least you had a good arm. I mean, that's good. I can't. I went to a Catholic school. Did I tell the story before where after like 2 or 3 years, they didn't want people dressing up in costumes. They thought it was scary. So they changed everything to you had to dress up as religious figures every year. So I think I was St. Francis of Assisi for like 3 years in a row.
Is he the one with the fire on his head?
I think he was like brown. He was like a monk. And then every girl was a nun and every boy was a priest. And then it was like, I was like, I don't, looking back on it, I'm like,
you know what I would have done? I would have came in as Jesus on the cross, like in next to no clothes with my hand slit open, like blood everywhere, like torn with blood, and be like, yeah, I'm a religious figure.
Actually, I've come to say that two people could have come as Adam and Eve. If you actually do religious figures, you could really go dark.
You can really go dark. Second think that.
You go Mary Magdalene and just come in as
Cain and Abel.
Yeah,
Cain and Abel. One's just like bloodied and like dead.
You come in as the Pharaoh, just ready to rip people apart.
Yeah, you can totally screw with people.
You could. Back in order to do that, you would have really had to go to religion class to understand the Bible, to understand the stories. So that would have been a very smart kids would have done that.
Everyone's dressing up as animals. You're like, what the hell's going on? We're the animals from Noah's Ark.
I mean, come to think of it, and now when I think about it, there are a lot of options in the Bible.
You just totally fuck with them. And you're like,
you're be the serpent. Wasn't there like a serpent?
The girls to come in like little skimpy like cat outfits. Be like, what? I'm one of the cats that went on the ark. I'm the female cat.
That would be brilliant. Oh man,
this is a religious thing.
You could do the plagues. Oh my, there's so many. You could do a dead soldier. I was one of the Egyptians that got crushed by the water, and now I'm dead. The ghost of an Egyptian soldier that Moses killed.
It's not
insane. Okay, so Danny, this week we're gonna bring back the very popular segment of What Did Vinnie Do?
Okay.
So everybody listening, get your thinking caps on because it is cold and flu season, and this week's quiz is brought to you by. Nate, what's your favorite cold and flu medicine, Danny?
I would say Theraflu.
Okay, so it's going to be sponsored by Theraflu. That's what they happen in the McCartney household.
Theraflu daytime and nighttime.
Fantastic.
The one that mixes into a tea, that's the one we're sponsored by.
Fantastic, everybody. And let us know, families out there, let us
When
know
you're
what you do.
when you're checking out at your local CVS, Dwayne Reed, or Walgreens, just mention Dad So Hard, and you should get, I believe, what is it, a 75-cent discount?
And maybe up to $1 if you actually publicly scream in the store, "I am part of Dad So Hard Nation."
Yeah.
It actually is free. They'll just give it
Give
to
it a
you and they'll
whirl,
let you
see
leave.
what happens.
They'll let you leave. So I got my flu shot a couple weeks ago. Did you get a flu shot yet?
No, when I went to get my flu shot at work, they ran out right before me. It's fantastic.
No comment.
We're waiting with bated breath for them to reschedule the shots.
So we are, but as everybody knows,
I think if I go to the Minute Clinic, will they just give it to me like at CVS?
I think you may have to pay though. I don't think it's free for the world. I think it's free if you're an employee of a company.
You got to pay. Yeah. What is it, $20?
Average Joe's. Probably. It's not. I don't think it's expensive.
Yeah, I'll do it.
For the people who do not have fantastic health care like the two of us,
clearly
courtesy
I
of our
don't.
companies.
It's one guy in like a briefcase of a couple of shots.
Insane. So because it is, well, no, it's cold and flu season. Did you bring your 2 kids to get flu shots?
Everyone in my family has flu shots except for me.
Now, with your children, was it a problem? Like, what were they happy about it? Did you warn them? Do you tell them the night before you're going to the doctor to get a shot?
They were warned, but I didn't go with them when they got them. Mary Jane took them.
But were they upset about it? Were they frightened about it? They just took it like I'm going to.
I mean, they don't like shots, but.
So we had ours. I go a couple weeks ago, the night before, Elisa broke the news to Shane that he had to go to the doctor. And he first said, "That's fine. What's he going to do? Look at my ears, see how tall I am?" And she said, "Yes, but also,
among other things,
you need to get not just 1 shot. In this situation, he needed to get 2 because we got a notice home from the school saying he might have been exposed to chickenpox. So we needed to get an extra vaccine, I think."
He didn't have that ready?
I think he did, but we weren't sure. So, I mean, he may have got a booster. Mm-hmm. So we said, but most of it, we were focusing on the flu shot. So he was screaming and crying, and I was like, this is going to go well, so go to bed. We wake up the next morning. He's sitting in a chair saying, "Daddy, don't go to work. I don't want to go." And neither of us could go with him. So our nanny or our au pair was the one who had to bring him.
Right.
So it's high stakes for him. And I do think a parent in these situations, one of us would have loved to have been there, but I need to make a direct deposit sometimes. And that trumped this. And I couldn't change it. So he sat there in the chair crying. And this week's question is, what did Vinnie do before I left for work? So did I say to Shane, I love you. It'll be okay. Maybe I'll come home early.
Definitely not.
We'll go to Target. I said, Shane, it'll be okay. How about for breakfast, you will go to the candy jar and you can have any piece of candy you want. And when you're done, you can have more candy. Or 3, did I say, Shane, look what's in my hand. It's a $20 bill. Oh, look what's in this hand. Another $20 bill. If you go to the doctor and take your shot like a man, you can go to Target and spend all this money on whatever you want.
Yeah, you paid him off.
I thought this was going to be harder than it was, Danny.
Yeah.
I actually stooped to blatant.
Yeah.
As I was doing it, I was
$40. What are you, nuts?
I'm a maniac, and
$1 would have done it.
No. Oh, he's a smart kid. So actually, and I thought he was
kid's that smart.
I told our au pair to go to Target because I was like, he'll get one big thing in Target. He always wants stuff that's expensive that we never get. She, and thank God is smarter than me, said, Vinny, I'm going to take him to Five Below, and then he can spend the money at Five Below. So then instead of
that store.
Yeah, Five Below was great. And so he ended up getting like 7 or 8 toys for the $5 for the $40 and was very happy. And when he came home, he was happy. So I felt like it did what I wanted it to do. But as I was sitting there waving $40, 2 $20 bills at 8 o'clock in the morning before I was even to work, I was like, this is not a good thing. Not a good look. What am I doing? And what is happening in my life?
No, yeah, that's
it was terrible.
You got to step it up.
It was, I lost my mind. So I should have just not done anything, but I
Gotta let them deal with it. Gotta let them figure it out. Go to the doctor, get the shot, scream your head off, and then move on to the next day. Roll with the punches.
I know, but it's so hard. And I said to him, I was like, and he was like, I go to doctor. He can take my temperature. He can look at my ears, but no shots. And I was like, oh, you gotta do the shots, kid.
You can ask him to not do the shot, but it's happening.
I know. I didn't like it. I felt bad.
Nah.
So, Danny, with that, before we go, what was your? Did you have a dad win? I feel like your Instagram, you've been winning a lot. So you're putting out a lot of wins out there. But what do you think was your big dad win or fail of this past week?
I mean, I would say my win was that my Halloween costume is going to be incredible.
The preview of it was phenomenal. So maybe we'll call that. What I got was a sneak peek. You're going to have to give our fans the
real deal. Oh, wait till Halloween. It's going to be, I'm going to really step it up.
And then what is Mary Jane going as? I don't think I saw her in the photos over the weekend.
Spider-Woman, I guess.
She could be Captain Marvel?
No, she didn't want to be Captain Marvel. My sister-in-law's being her.
Okay. What about Black Widow?
Someone I think is being Black Widow in the family. Maybe.
But this isn't just your immediate family is going as the Avengers. You've gotten your entire extended family as the Avengers.
Some of them, yeah. Well, it's like because like certain people are like being things in the family. So like Mary Jane didn't want to like repeat costumes.
But there is no female Spider-Man.
I know.
So
we wanted her to be Rescue, but that costume is apparently impossible to find.
I don't even know who Rescue is.
Tony Stark's wife. Remember?
Oh, Poppy?
Pepper
Potts.
Yeah.
Oh, her code name is Rescue?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, so bringing this podcast totally full circle, guess who is starring in the Netflix show Election?
Is it Gwyneth Paltrow?
Bing, 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 bing. So, and she is somebody who does not age, is beautiful.
I'm not a big fan of hers. I don't know why.
I'll be honest with you. I agree with you. I think she's gooped it up to a goopa.
She doesn't do it for me.
In this show, though, this is the best I've ever seen her look and act. Like she was actually like a really.
Is she the one that's married to Seal?
No, that was Heidi Klum. Gwyneth was married to the
was
man.
She dead?
What?
Is she dead?
Who?
Heidi Klum?
No, Heidi Klum's not dead. She was on Project Runway for years, and now she's like unemployed.
You said she was married to
Seal. They got divorced.
Oh,
unless she's dead, she was married. There's two ways to exit a marriage: death or divorce.
Death or divorce. Yeah, you're right.
And no, but Gwyneth Paltrow was married to the front man of Bush, I think, and then they did that conscious
Gavin Rossdale.
Yeah,
he's dead.
No, he's not dead. He's alive.
No.
Yes, he is. He's alive, and they did a conscious uncoupling.
Definitely not.
I'm telling you, Gavin
Rossdale's dead. Dead as a doornail.
This is Danny. If I wish
look it up.
If I was only faster, I'm doing it right now. Gavin Rossdale.
I'm telling you.
Somebody tweet us right now.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of the lead singer of
He's born in 1965 and he's still alive. Yes, Gavin Rossdale is still alive.
Am I thinking the lead singer of
Soundgarden?
Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell's dead.
Chris Cornell, the lead
Cornell.
Chris Cornell was the lead singer of Soundgarden,
and he's dead.
And I'm gonna click on him, and it looks like he died in May of 2017.
Nailed it. I knew I was going to get there.
First of all, nailed what? You accused. you don't even. That was the most inopportune way. I don't even. I don't know how to get. You nailed it. That's right. Gavin Rossdale is not Chris Cornell. Is alive, but Chris Cornell is dead in Soundgarden, and I don't think Chris Cornell has any connection to Gwyneth Paltrow that I know of.
Well, not anymore.
Well, maybe they hooked up at one point in their lives.
Well, whatever.
Whatever.
There.
So the point is, she looks
Moral
great
of the
in the
story,
show in Election. I can't.
We got there.
So on that, we got there. We came full circle. There is a lot that we talked about in this episode. Hopefully, somebody just write us in if you ever read the descriptions I write in the podcast app. Let us know.
A jam-packed one.
It's jammy. And can people? We love you. Leave a review. 5 stars.
Subscribe and review.
Send us a DM. Danny likes to live in the DMs. Slide in. There was a minute that we considered going on TikTok.
I still don't really understand TikTok.
Correct. That minute came and passed. The reason why I'm not on it is it's owned by the Chinese government. It used to be Musically. They just rebranded Musically as TikTok, and the Chinese. So if you go on it, the Chinese know everything about you.
You heard it here first.
It's a public service announcement. If you care about your privacy, don't go on TikTok.
First. So far, we have people not doing 23andMe because the Mormons have your information, and we have people not going on TikTok.
Not going on TikTok. Just stay on Instagram. Instagram and your favorite podcast app. The only
and do the Russians still have Facebook?
The Russians probably still have our Facebook data. I listened to another Cambridge Analytica interview today. Fascinating.
We're stopping.
Fascinating.
We're stopping.
Okay, listen, everybody. Get ready. I think we're going to record pre-Halloween next week because we're recording on a Monday night.
We'll release it on Halloween.
Okay, so we'll record to release on Halloween. Perfect. This is being recorded on a Monday night.
Pretend you didn't hear that. We don't want to ruin it.
Well, they're going to hear it if they listen to this before next episode.
No, we'll edit this part out.
I'm not going to edit. Who's we going to edit it? No, we're gonna do a lot. We're gonna do some crazy editing. Why don't we go on Instagram and make a post? Why don't we take some photos of this recording and we get people to tune into the podcast? Why don't we sell some t-shirts?
Second,
can we mail t-shirts to our fans? How about that, Danny?
Vinny, you're
I'm gonna wake your household. I'm gonna wake your household up.
You're on. I'll just lower the volume. All right, we're done.
All right, listen, everybody. We love you. Thanks for listening again, and we'll see you next time for episode I Can't Drive
55.
55.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.